Okay, we're running through the wide receivers for Yahoo Fantasy Football this upcoming season, talking a little bit about each of the wide receivers available, giving our thoughts on how we think they're going to do. We're at number 34, and who is number 34?
It is Braylon Edwards
Braylon
for the Jets.
Edwards. The Jets are going to be hit and miss. A lot of people are down on Mark Sanchez because the offense, passing-wise, has really struggled, and they really want to be a run-first team. But Braylon Edwards does find a way to produce. Consistently could be a problem. You could see a lot of games where he does not do.
He has a lot of 50-plus plays, Braylon Edwards does.
But I think the Jets are going to be a very competitive team all season long, and I think that plays into Edwards' favor. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't shy away from Edwards.
Just the fact that he's on the Jets this year, I think, in a lot of ways helps his value.
He could emerge. I think he's a sleeper to be one of the top wide receivers in the league if Sanchez comes along nicely like he's expected to.
We got Malcolm Floyd for San Diego, who might be a better option than people think, given the problems with Vincent Jackson.
Well, the options there in San Diego as far as passing goes, they've also got Antonio Gates. So you've got to remember, Gates is probably their number one option as far as scoring touchdowns with the passing game. So Floyd may struggle once Vincent Jackson gets his butt in gear, gets on the field and starts playing. Floyd may struggle to find a place on the offensive side consistently. That being said, though, I think Jackson's going to be a problem all season long, and I think Floyd emerges as a really good option for San Diego. I would take Floyd if you've got two really good wide receivers already. Take Floyd
as your third.
Yeah. If you've already got two really good wide receivers, or two great running backs and a good wide receiver, then take Floyd. But make sure you've got some pieces on offense ahead of Floyd to carry the load in case he doesn't show up.
We've got Wes Welker, who always shows up.
Well, he was owned in our league. He was owned by Indefinite IR last season and put up huge yardage numbers. Guess what? Couldn't find the end zone.
Yeah.
I think he does find the end zone more than he did last year, which isn't really saying much.
The Patriots struggled last season, though, and now that Tom Brady is back and is healthy, then
as long as the contract thing's settled, and I think it does, because Brady is.
There's no way they're letting go of Brady.
I think Welker is a steal this low in the draft.
Yes, I agree. Devin Hester, he's my boy. I had him last year.
I think if Hester proves to be trustworthy, we talked about this with Arishmadu, if Hester proves to be a trustworthy wide receiver, Hester has a good year. But if he continues to not progress the way the Bears want him to, I don't think he has a very good season.
Yeah, he's really hit and
he's not worth picking up just because he can run back a couple of kicks a year.
That's right.
I owned Joshua Cribbs last season for a good chunk, and he had a couple of fantastic games running in touchdowns for the Browns on the return side.
But that didn't make him...
It didn't contribute to anything on a consistent basis. So I would probably stay away from Hester.
Eddie Royal, who I suppose will be stepping up to be the number one guy in Denver now. The
number one option in Denver.
Now that Brandon
Eddie
Marshall's
Royal.
gone.
As somebody who took Eddie Royal thinking he was going to be a great number two, I can tell you, stay away from Eddie Royal. You don't know who the quarterback's going to be in Denver anyway. They've said it's going to be Kyle Orton, but it could really go any one of three directions. And I don't think Royal is talented enough to be, anything like Brandon Marshall was.
You don't think Marshall's departure kicks Royal up in value?
I don't think he answers the bell. I don't think he answers the bell on that one. I think he's, at best, a third wide receiver option.
Okay. About Kenny Britt for Tennessee. He's going to, I don't know. I think about Tennessee wide receivers, and I think, what's the point?
Exactly.
Frankly.
They've got Washington, too, I believe.
Huh? Yeah.
Nate Washington?
They've got Nate Washington, yeah.
So, I think Tennessee is not a good place to go if you're looking for a wide receiver. The upside, I don't think is that high. I don't think there's a high ceiling for wide receivers in Tennessee because I don't think, Vince Young is going to be asked to throw a whole lot. Now, if Chris Johnson gets hurt, yeah. But
if Chris Johnson gets hurt, the Titans are done for the season.
There's some other wide receivers out there that you might want to take a chance on instead.
Johnny Knox, possibly. He's another one of the young Chicago guys who emerged a little bit last year.
Like the fastest guy you've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's incredibly fast. guess what? You got to catch the ball to be worth anything.
That's right. So he needs some training certainly, and he needs to some tempering. But
I think Cutler plays better. That benefits Knox. I think Knox is a much safer bet than a Malcolm Floyd. I think Knox is a much safer bet
than a Kenny Britt
or
an Eddie Royal.
Right. So I would probably take Knox over all those guys.
Yeah. Steve Breston. I know we like him over here in Arizona.
I think Breston has a good year.
Yeah.
The only problem is that's assuming the Cardinals are a consistent team. So if you're concerned at all about their quarterback situation, then stay away from Breston.
Yeah.
Because he's going to get a lot of attention on the offense with Fitzgerald getting double and even triple covered, but I don't necessarily think that converts to good offensive stats for Breston if there are struggles at quarterback. But if you think they're going to be fine at quarterback, definitely take Breston.
Yeah. So we got Lee Evans for Buffalo.
Buffalo is an awful place to search for any fantasy talent. Stay away from Buffalo.
Enough said. He's from Buffalo. Muhammad Mascoy, Cleveland.
He could actually emerge if Jake Delhomme is serviceable. He could emerge as a sleeper to help carry you through the fantasy season. They also do have the situation in Cleveland where Seneca Wallace could come in.
That's true.
And Colt McCoy could wind up seeing some playing time as well. So Massaquoi could be a really good sleeper pick. But if I had to, bet on him doing that, I
would not.
And I don't think he's going to be, even if he's good, I don't think he's going to be consistently good. He's still too young in his career to do that.
Yeah. Down here we've got Jacoby Jones, way down the second wide receiver below Andre Johnson on the Houston team.
He's a good option. I think he's a very good option because Andre gets so much attention. As long as Schaub is good and as long as the Texans are winning, I think Jacoby Jones is a decent, maybe a stretch for the number 2 wide receiver on your roster, but a good pick for your 3rd wide receiver.
Once you get down this far, for the most part, in the wide receiver core, you're looking at similar issues, I think, of these people being...
Yes, for sure.
Julian Edelman for New England. Antonio Bryant got brought into Cincinnati.
That could actually... I'm going to stop you there. I
Okay.
think Bryant could be a decent pick later rounds from Cincinnati because they do have the potential to be a good passing offense.
Mm-hmm. Santonio Holmes for the Jets.
I'd stay away from him. He's going to be out.
Demarius Thomas, the rookie from Denver. I'm not sure how much they're going to play him.
He could wind up being their number 1 wide receiver, though.
I suppose he could.
If Eddie Royal struggles, he could be their number 1 guy. Problem is you don't know who's throwing him the ball, too. So
right.
I would not stretch on him unless he's still available in like the last round of your draft.
Yeah. Jericho Cotchery is down here with the Jets, who had some good games last season.
He could be good early.
Yeah.
With the other guy being out, but
right.
I don't think he's a good option either because the Jets are clearly not intended to be a pass team. So I don't know if I would take him very high in the draft or very low in the draft. He might be somebody that you might want to wait and see if he maybe makes it to the waivers.
Yeah. Terrell Owens, please don't draft Terrell Owens, please. He doesn't even have a team yet. Nobody wants him. Nobody wants him. Don't draft him.
Probably, I think if he does play the season, he could get you 4 touchdowns. But I don't think he's going to be consistent. So if you're taking him, take him as your last pick. Hedge your bets. Make sure everything else is in order before you take T.O.
Everybody else here, you got Austin Collie, you got Donnie Avery, Golden Tate, Nate Washington, Roy Williams.
Golden Tate could be good. Nate Washington, I don't think he's worth taking as an everyday starter on your fantasy roster.
Yeah. But that's about it for wide receivers. I think we should come back with running backs, sir.
Let's do it.